Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, a nice 9-point range in the S&Ps this morning, Dennis. Just sneaking under settlement early in the session at 13,050, and making a high there of just shy of Friday's Globex high at 1317.50.
Yeah, it should be an interesting morning, Joe. We've got a lot of earnings coming out here. We're still waiting on ExxonMobil, but Pfizer has already reported from the Big Ten and lots of other earnings reports as well.
Okay, if that 1308.50 holds as the low of the day, we have an upside target of 1324. If this 1317.50 holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1302.50. Right now, need to hold in here at 1313 in order to keep the market in the rally. Moving on to the Big Ten, Dennis. ExxonMobil due to report earnings this morning. Opened lower and went lower, made a low at 84.59, not quite approaching that $84 level we were looking for. Rebounded with the rest of the market, closed 1 penny off the high of the day at 85.49. And it looks as though someone's anticipating good earnings as the stock is trading up $1 and opening right into resistance at 86.51, which was Friday's high.
Yeah, it looks like that 85. We cut through there a little bit yesterday. I was hoping it would bounce a little bit earlier than that. It was a pretty good shakeout. If you did hold through that, well, I guess good job. But it traded 40 cents below that level I was hoping it would bounce off of. Trading 86.52 this morning. We're up $1 here in anticipation of the ExxonMobil numbers. They are not out yet, but they should be coming out any moment. And if they do come out during the Big Ten show, we'll be sure to come back and talk to you about it. Just a big technical level. $88 is huge on this. It's $1.50 away, but if we go into rally mode for whatever reason after the earnings report, 88's a big number.
Okay, Apple saves the day yesterday. Activity in the S&Ps, and just noticed a lot of strength in Apple. It couldn't even get near that 443 area that we were talking about on every S&P sell-off. Only got down to 445.39. That was Monday's low. Heck, we're $10 away from that. It's not even a relevant number. I would use the close 453.01 as minor support. If it cuts through there, you got a lot of air down to the 449 level. That just below that, there was an old double top. Coming on the upside, I only have one number, 454.45. We're trading above that. That was the previous all-time high. I guess that would be support for the 453.90 area. And Dennis, picking a top in this worth anybody's while. Perhaps we'll get a test of your whole number theory at 500.
Yeah, 500 I think is a few days away, Joel, but we look like we appear to be going to make a new 52-week high today. We are in the pre-market. Obviously, a lot can happen between now and the open, but if we do indeed make a new high here, then I wouldn't want to be short the stock.
Okay, IBM had its basically a day and a half or 2 day correction here, spending a little time under 189, got to 188.22 before recovering around with the rest of the market, closing near the high of the day as well at 192.50 with a 192.73 high. Use that whole area as support since we are trading up a little bit. Below that 190. Not a lot of support down here until at least 191.77. Coming back on the upside, Dennis. I mean, what can you say except for the all-time high there at 194.90?
Yeah, I had a nice run yesterday, Joel. This stock opened and tanked a little bit, but then just went straight up there after, shortly after the open. Had nice relative strength considering yesterday. We actually ended up $2 on IBM considering the market was a little bit weaker. So good relative strength overall, and your whole tech sector was pretty relatively strong yesterday. 194.90, Joel, you got the number right there. I'd expect major high-frequency resistance up there off that old 195 area where we were talking about it about 2 months ago.
Okay, moving on to our next component, Chevron Corporation. kind of going with the continued sell-off after the earnings announcements last week. Was looking for the 101.78 level, which was a low we had back on December 20th. Couldn't quite get there. Stopped on a dime at 102.08. Rally 41. Interestingly, as much as the Exxon Mobil is trading up in the pre-market, Chevron Corporation is not. Uh, so opening above this 103.5 area, which was Monday's high, could easily signal a buck 17 move up to Friday's high at 104.67. Above that, we have a gap to fill at 106.35.
Yeah, no trades to report yet as of CVX as of right now. But it is bid up a little bit, Joel. 103.75, so it's closed at 103.41 with a bid of 103.75, and the best offer is up at 105.19. Very early here yet. I'd expect ExxonMobil to dictate the action in this today. If ExxonMobil comes out and blows the number away, then this stock will probably rally. So use ExxonMobil as your leader if you're trading CVX today.
Okay, nice move in Microsoft yesterday. Getting under the $29 level where we had a couple lows. Wasn't there for long, Dennis. Turned around along with the rest of the market. Rallied up nicely. Closed 1 penny off the high of the day, 29.61 high, with a 20 lows with a 62 high. And that's bumping right into Wednesday 95.70. So you have Mr. Softy opening up into some major resistance here. Above that level, we have the magical, as last week's high was 29.95. Coming back on the downside, Dennis, I don't see a whole lot of really 2 or 3 star support until you get down to that yesterday's low, but certainly doesn't seem like that's going to come into play today.
Yeah, Joel's talking about that 30 number. His audio just cut out a little bit there when he was saying 30, but 30 is huge on this stock. 29.95 is your 52-week high. It's a huge whole number, 30. I'd expect major resistance from 29.85 all the way up to $30. It gets through that 30, which it can do, then all bets are off. But until it gets through that 30, I think you got to play it from the short side. It cuts through the 30, though. I'd be quick to cover those shorts.
Okay, General Electric did open lower yesterday. Cut through a double bottom we had at that 85.75 to 76 level. Certainly didn't go very far, making an 18.70 low, recovering along with the rest of the market to settle at 18.90. 18.92 there was the high. Still trading below that $19 level, Dennis. Not sure if you got any size accumulating there. Below 19, you have the high of the move at 19.27.
I seen a little bit of size accumulating there yesterday. I don't see much this morning, but I call 19 minor resistance here. We do know where the major resistance is, which we've talked about, is up at that 1925 to 1930 area where there's been some major resistance for quite some time. So I'd say your first stopping point, if it goes into rally mode, would maybe be the 19 area, and then after that, look at that 19.25.
Okay, Procter Gamble kind of getting ganged up by the analysts yesterday. Opened quite a bit lower, opened 50 cents lower. Never looked back. Sniffed the $63 level, 63.03 was Monday's low. We'd kind of been keeping an eye on that as a whole number theory, as well as 62.95, a little gap to fill there. Recovered on the day to settle at 63.21, trading up 20 cents in the pre-market. Today's high should be good resistance, 63.80. Above that, Friday's close is 64.30. Things get weak again and come down near that 63 level, Dennis. I think for maybe for some of you traders trying to pick a bottom in this thing, that's a 63.05 to 63.10 area, may be as good as any.
Have they ever ganged up on this stock, though, the analysts? Like, it's had, how many downgrades in the last 3 or 4 days has this stock had? It's got to be 4 or 5. The one day it had a couple. I think, well, yesterday it had a couple. I remember a day last week it had a couple of downgrades, too. So for some reason, the analysts are all getting off the Procter & Gamble bandwagon here. I think the stock, has been beat up pretty good. If it, at 61, there's major support down there. So I would probably be a buyer if it got that low. That's still $2 away from here, though. closing at 63.21. It is getting a little bit of a lift this morning, 63.41, so it's up about 20 cents in the pre-market. I'd say the old 64 support might give you a little bit of resistance as we start coming back through, Joel.
I mean, I guess if they anticipate people stop using soap, toothpaste, and toilet paper, the stock will have a substantial sell-off.
Yeah, those items aren't necessities whatsoever, Joel.
Okay, moving on to AT&T, making Dennis look like a champ with his whole number theory at the $29 level, stopping at 29.02, bouncing up through that Friday low and close. It was decent resistance, but it obviously couldn't hold with the market rally. It's starting to rally back up into that 29.53 area, which was Friday's high. I expect some pretty good resistance there. Above that 29.53, we might be sneaking up toward that $29 level. Coming back on the downside, doesn't seem like we're going to get down to that 29.02 area again. So I would use the low and the close from Friday, this 29.15-16 area, to start nibbling on some longs or covering some shorts.
Well, I look like a hero with the call, Joel, but not with my trading because I bought this stock at 29.03, so almost at the low of the day. I held on to it. It seemed like forever to me being a scalper, but I think I actually held on to it for about 20-25 minutes. I finally sold it at 29.09 for a small 6-cent winner because I was getting nervous that it was hanging out down here too long, and I thought it might eventually move down and take it out. Basically, right after I sold it, the stock just kept marching up all day. So it got as high as 29.38. So obviously, the scalper blood in me didn't allow me to take much out of that trade. So I hope you guys held better than I did if you did buy it down there. I think technical numbers today, 29 definitely remains support. And I was talking before about that old 29.50 resistance, and I think that might be, where it gives you a little bit of resistance, and it could possibly even open up into that resistance, Joel.
You couldn't take the penny worth of heat there, huh?
I got down 1 cent in the trade, and I did make a few cents on it, but man, I should have held it better than that.
Okay. Did you sit on the bid on that, Dennis, or did you wait for it to go offered and lift the offer?
That's a good question. I don't remember. Usually, I'm a big fan of not sitting on the bids because you get pennied so much, which is stuff we've talked about on the site, and we've got under the education perspective. Under the education tab, sorry. But so usually I am a fan on the bigger ones of just taking the offer as opposed to sitting on the bid and hoping to get done. If you want in the trade, I usually just say pay the 1 cent to get in. But I can't remember on that one if I was just sitting
okay. I was just curious for our traders. I mean, they don't hit bids on stocks when they're going up, right?
True.
Okay. Let's see here. J&J, really just stock will not give it in, Dennis. $65 level held up again. 65.13 was the low. That was the area we talked about where you've had a multiple of closes. Came back up, Dennis, settled right on the high, 65.71. Not seeing what's going on in the pre-market. I imagine there's got to still be some substantial size at 65.87 and 88. Those were the highs from Thursday and Friday. And then that magical 66 number, Dennis, we're going to take it out today?
I don't know, Joe. We're right into resistance here. There's no trades to report as of yet, and I have a trading position on in this one too. So I don't want to. I want to limit my comments, but I'll just say that 66 number is still huge.
Okay, moving on to our last Big Ten component, Pfizer Corporation reported obviously some good earnings this morning, popping up nicely here, Dennis. That's like a parabolic move for Pfizer, trading
really
up 25 cents in the pre-market, opening up into Wednesdays and Thursdays highs, so you are opening into some resistance. If in fact you come back to that high close area at 21.58, it'll be good support. If this Pfizer rallies for real, let's go back up and test 22 again.
$22, you got the number, Joel, and I have a trading position on in that one. But just to say, they reported 50 cents against the 47. Their guidance wasn't that great, but they're still rallying the stock here. It's trading 21.83 after closing at 21.58. So looks like it's going to have a little bit of resistance maybe in this 22 area.
Okay, Spoos is hanging out 13, 15, couple points off the high. Don't have any major numbers coming out before the open. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our market movers.